There's a story about a very rich man, and he does a shidduch for his daughter, and this guy has a problem. He's allergic to dairy. He can only eat meat. He says, no problem, I'm building you a west wing with its own kitchen, and you're going to sit and eat with your family over there, and he gives him the most expensive, unlimited budget, all the food and the meats in the world. The next daughter gets married. She marries a guy with a funny thing. He's allergic to meat. He says, not a problem. I'm a rich guy. I built an east wing. And over there, all the utensils and everything is only milchiks. You can eat there with your family. Years go by, and they're eating in the east wing, the milchiks. He's in the west wing with the fleishiks. Unfortunately, the father loses all of his money. Nebuch, he's poor. So one day he calls in the two Adams. He says, listen, at the end of the day, you're both eating potatoes anyway. You might as well eat together. You're eating kartoffel anyway, so you might as well eat together. I think that what I saw at the Shabbaton, when I looked around, there's an Nisayin ha'ayni and a Nisayin ha'oisher. Klal Yisrael went through a Nisayin of rich, a Nisayin ha'oisher, a Nisayin of success. Because we built up in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, nobody ever thought there's going to be Hasidus and yeshivas and Yiddishkeit. Think about it, the Holocaust was in the 40s. By the 60s, when I was born, I didn't feel like I was davening in someone's basement, and there was camps to go to, there was yeshivas to go to, there was bakeries, there was pizza shops. Everything was there. I don't know how it happened between 48 and 68, 20 years, broken people who don't speak the language built up, it sprouted up. I didn't feel like I was missing anything. And since then, everybody got frummer and frummer, and it went from the dream of the children should all be doctors and lawyers to, if you're not going to learn for 35 years after you get married, you're a bum, you're an oisvarf, you're basically a guy, right? And Torah and Koil, everything was amazing. But one of the bad things that happened was that there's a lot of sinas chinam that creeps into us, because all of a sudden there's my Rebbe and your Rebbe, and there's, Litvish and Hasidish, which wouldn't have had 50 years ago. There's an Nisayin ha'oisher, because we're so successful, so I have my shtibel, and I don't daven here, and this is the shul I daven, and this is the shul I don't daven, and my brother-in-law, it created a lot of, all in the name of Torah, because he's not frum enough, and this yeshiva, a lot of rejection, a lot of pain, because we're successful. If we would have been the Shabbos HaPleit to Yidden 30, 40, 50 years later, when you have a classroom with 25 chairs and only 12 applicants, you want everybody. Every kid who used to come in was so wanted, and now it's like, I have 3 openings and 35 siblings. I don't need you. That's the attitude, and then they're right. Why should I take the bad kid who's going to cause so much trouble, or the poor guy? I'll take the rich guy and the easy kid. Why not? So we have an Nisayin ha'oisher. What I saw at the Shabbaton that we had, right? We have parents from everywhere, because now we're in the Nisayin ha'ayni. Now, nobody cares right now if their kid is going to be like this or like that. We want our kids to be alive. We want our kids to be healthy, happy, and we'll be very happy if they're Shomer Torah mitzvahs. Anything above that is what it was always supposed to be, gravy. Whether it's going to have this kind of payas or this kind of a hat, it's like the furthest thing from our minds. And of course those things are important, but we really have what's important. And I saw that at the Shabbaton, where we have Syrians, Sfardim, Young Israel, Kippas Ruga. We have Yeshivish, Hasidish, right? We have Babov and Satmar and Vishnitz and Vishnitz and Vishnitz and Vishnitz and Vishnitz and Vishnitz. And modern Flatbush and Hasidish light and Litvish heavy and long beards and short beards and beards that go up and down for different reasons, which we couldn't figure out. All kinds of sleeping with the beard above, everything. And everybody got along, because once you're dealing with ICU, nothing matters anymore. Our difference is it doesn't matter. We'll be happy if our kids will be alive and healthy and frum. And I think that was a takeaway for me. You got to really fight for what's real and what's important, and we got to focus on it. And try to spread that around, that when everybody is getting carried away with, this camp and this leader and that gadol, let's remember, being alive is a very good thing. Being healthy is a very important thing. Happy and yismach leiv, mevakshe Hashem. Our kids, Mirz Hashem, should all have complete refuas and yeshuas and be erlich yidden. No matter what their hat looks like.